Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's well. New office. Check it out. This is currently pretty messy. Let me mute the video before I trip myself.
Hello, everybody.
Every time. Done. Yeah, so I've built this new office in the past few months. You may have followed on Twitter. It's not painted. It doesn't have any flooring except a few mats, but this is a nice space I can start working in. I've got the windows open, the door open, no artificial lights, which is awesome. I do have artificial lights, but they're off. Excuse me. And I thought I'd do my first live stream in that space. Lots more to come and lots of recordings. I'm excited. So let's do this. What are we doing today? So I'm going to switch to share my screen. And I might keep myself in the bottom here for a little bit, but I will hide myself afterwards so I'm not self-conscious and stressed out the whole time. So what are we doing here? Last week, I think on Friday, I've published a new guide on the Keystatic docs that shows you how to implement live previews. And we're using Keystatic, but it's more of a Next.js feature and a GitHub API feature paired together to do something pretty cool. So if I go here in the recipes, you can see we have these real-time previews with Next.js draft mode. So the first thing to note, hello, Right Chili, I guess that's how you say your name. Welcome to the stream. I'm gonna try to follow the comments while I go. So, draft mode. Maybe let's start here. If you don't know about this, it's part of the Next.js API, and it lets you do some things. If you want to preview something before it's published and shipped and deployed. If you want to let content editors see how some entry they've made would look like, you can use that. So, this guide here, I have written it and taken a fresh new Next.js app, and I got it working. But what I want to do today is try to implement it on an existing site of mine, which has taken a bunch of spiderwebs in the last few months. You may have seen this Better Dev screencast, which is a resource where I teach tips on creating screencasts for developers. So from the whole mindset of create content instead of freaking out about it and not doing it, to techniques for recording screen or audio improvements or video editing. It only has 4 posts. I do need to write more. I have lots of ideas, not much time though. And so this is a Next.js website, and it's using Keystatic. So you can see all I have there. That was actually the very first website I've used with Keystatic at the very early days, probably the first week of using Keystatic and with the team building it. And so it's just the 4 posts that are maintained in Keystatic. You can see I have a few different blocks and layouts and interesting stuff. I did last week upgrade to a very recent version of Keystatic. So you can see I have the new UI. I haven't changed the navigation, but I've added the site name here, which is a new feature. Very quick aside, if I go in the Keystatic config, this is this UI key where you can have a brand that takes a name, but also a logo that I haven't done. And then you have the navigation as well that you can change. Check out the other guide I've done, or no, actually I haven't done a guide. Just a colleague wrote the documentation for how to use the UI customizations. But today, what we're focusing on is the live preview. So what I want to do right now, if I wanted to create a new post, I'd do something like this. New post, create a new GitHub branch, so it's not published. And then I would go in post and add a new post. Hello, this is my new post. How bold cool is this. My new post, publish date today. This is the intro excerpt. Whatever, I'm not gonna actually publish this, so who cares? So I've created the new post. And so at this point, if I want to see, I mean, I can see it locally. This is the live site though, right? So if I was an editor on the live site, before I could see it, I would need to create a pull request and new post, do description and all that stuff, and basically do a pull request into main, which would trigger a deployment on Vercel, which is where the site is deployed. And mind you, this is a small, simple site, so the build time is probably not that long. But you can imagine a scenario where you have build times of 3, 4, 5 minutes. It happens. And also explaining to non-technical people that they need to create the pull request and then go figure out the deploy link by clicking on, not necessarily going to Vercel, but by clicking the link once it's previewed. Yeah, wait for this, and then you can visit preview. So it's not rocket science, but you still have to explain to your team, and then it's a bunch of friction, right? So now we should have a 5th post without a cover image. Oh, this was this one, and that's the fallback cover image of me eating a cookie. It was a delicious cookie. So there's the post, intro expect, how cool is this? It all works. But there was this feedback loop of waiting for the preview, opening the PR and all that stuff. So what we want to try to do in this stream, what I want to try to do in this stream is instead to have this real-time preview, which means that in the admin UI, when I create a new post, we're going to add a little live preview icon here. And clicking on that will magically read from GitHub, from the commit hash of a specific branch, and put that into a preview without opening a PR, without waiting for any build. It's literally going to use Next.js draft mode and then fetch the data from a specific commit. And that's pretty cool. So let's get into it, step by step. Okay, so it assumes we use the reader API and it's connected to GitHub, which is the case. And I should add here, the reason I'm doing this stream is to expose little problems with the guide. Yeah, it should says an existing Next.js and Keystatic site, because the whole guide is about Next.js. I guess it's kind of clear from the title, but in the assumption here, I should say that. So the first thing we want to do is add a start and end preview routes. And basically, this is how you turn on and off the draft mode in Next.js. So you can see here at some point, we go draft mode enable, and then we do a bunch of stuff to store what branch we want to read from, and then we redirect to the actual page. So basically, by linking to a route, but going through preview, start, and then passing the destination as a query parameter, and what branch and what destination we want, we can trigger the draft mode on and then go to the route we want it to go, but with draft mode on. And it means that then we need to end it. And this is a bit easier. It's simply a route that you visit, or actually you can see a form here. And basically in this one, we disable the thing and then redirect. So let's do this. I'm going to create a start and end route. So it's in the preview /start/route.tsx. I'll copy all of this. Let's try that. So app And here I'm going to go new file, preview / start, and then we want a route.tsx. And we're going to paste that. So it's importing stuff from Next.js. And then basically this route is going to be linked from the admin UI, from that little, I should stop halfway to teach you stuff, but anyway, like here we're going to have a button and it's going to link to this start route. So it's going to enable draft mode and then go to the preview page. So let's save that. Let me make sure I've got it correct. App, preview, start, route.tsx. Yes, yes, yes. App, preview, start, route.tsx. And then we do the end route. So this one is the opt out of it, if that makes sense. So next to start, I will have an end route.tsx. Let's save that. If you have any questions, ask away. I'm looking at the comments. Otherwise, let's keep going. So this is the first step, start and end preview routes. We've done this. And basically now we need to have actually scenarios where we go to this route to start and to end. So let's start with the stop draft mode. And this one, basically, if you have draft mode on, we want to display a little, hey, you are currently in draft mode. And do that in the layout means that it's going to be available on every page to easily stop it. And you can see that here we have this form and we say go to preview end, and that's going to trigger the end back to non-draft mode. So I'm going to go in my layout and add what we need. I haven't worked with this site in months. I've just added the UI stuff in the admin UI, but the actual site. So I forgot how it's set up, but we'll work it out. This is the joys of live streaming. App. Ooh, is it using the pages? Ooh, I don't know if it's gonna be a problem. Yeah, it's still using the pages router. That should work still. That should work still. That'll make it interesting. Oh my God, I forgot how it's amazing how quickly your brain switches to. I remember when the app router came, it was all confusing, and now I'm reversedly pretty confused about. This is the server side document, and then we have the app. So I guess here might work. Oh, this stream might go to absolute garbage if the draft mode is not compatible with the pages router. I don't want to rewrite my site to the app router on live stream. Let's see. Hopefully that works. I don't know actually. Well, I use the app router, so you know that incrementally adaptable stuff. Worst case, I could move this to a layout, but let's try like this, because you can use both, and actually I do here. Okay, so we import the draft mode, and then we want to have a little check inside the component. Is enabled. We check draft mode. And then we need to do something about this. If it's enabled, we're going to add this form. I'll probably copy all the pluses sign that I don't want here, but. So we have the head, navigation, footer. Let's add it right after the footer. And like I said, remove the little pluses. Maybe that's something we can improve in the docs. Have a UI that lets you copy without the diff plus minus. Okay, so what I've done is in my main layout, after the footer, if we in draft mode, we add a form that goes out of draft mode. It should work. It still goes to the preview route end, which lives here. So we'll see. So essentially, if I go to the front end, but I need to run it locally because that's live mode. So let me run the project locally. npm run div. Here we are. We should have the same site, but with only... Oh, here we go. There you go. The problems start now. Oh, I don't know if I want to do all of this on the live stream. I should have thought of that before. So basically, server components is an app router thing. So I should move my underscore app to become a layout and then work from there. But there's all that stuff. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that because it's going to be an absolute pain. Do we have another site I could... Do I have another site I could implement that? Otherwise, here's what I'm going to do. Offline, I'm going to upgrade the site to using the app router. And then I'm going to do another attempt at going through this guide. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. I'm trying to think if there's anything I can do instead. Do you have any questions while you have me on live and I've bothered you for nothing? If you have, I'll happily, let's get rid of that. I'll happily talk about a few things, answer a few questions. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to do the things that is hard to do on the live stream, which is moving to the app router for the layout and then go through. But maybe while I have you, I can just walk you through the next steps once so this is to opt out of the preview, and then we need the option to enter the preview mode, and that happens from the admin UI. So in collections and singletons, there is a new preview URL key. And basically, here's the magic. You hit that preview start route, and we're passing two parameters, the branch and the to, which is the destination where you want to go. So that would be where the existing post would be if it was a real page. And you can see that in the, well, I can look here. If we go back up to the start route, you can see that it's looking at the branch and two params, and then it uses that. It basically uses that to do the draft mode on and get the data from a branch and then figure out what route to preview. So by adding this preview URL, you get an extra button here. I can show you if I go to keystatic.com. I like this keystatic/keystatic because yes, it's using Keystatic to power Keystatic, of course. So now in there, first of all, enjoy the nice logo here. And you can see we have config and experimental. This is the navigation tweaks that I was mentioning at the start. So if I go in documentation on any of the pages, you can see that we have here that live preview. And so this is the feature that gets added. And you can see, if you look at the bottom left on my browser here, you can see that it says preview start branch equals main to docs/cloud, which is the slug of this page, as the birds go crazy outside. So when you add the step we were looking at in the guide, which is, where is it? Here, the step here, when you add the preview URL, it enables this preview link in the admin UI. Remove that and it's gone. So it's basically an opt-in feature. And yeah, the next thing you have to do, because the Keystatic reader API is slightly different when you use the GitHub reader. So basically, as it's called as a function, you need to replace the uses. Well, here's because it's a thing you want to do over and over. It's a good idea to have a file which exports a reader. And you can see that here we're using the cache from React and cookies draft mode, as well as our traditional reader from the reader API. And if needs be, the create GitHub reader, which is a new sort of reader that reads from GitHub directly. So basically we checked, is it draft mode? And if it's draft mode, we look if we can find a branch in the cookies. And if we do, then we create our GitHub reader. It needs to take the name of the org and repo, what branch, and the token. This, I think if I hard refresh this, we're going to have a new value here because I did a PR recently. You can also use cookies, get, and use the GitHub API, the GitHub app value instead. Oh no, so maybe it hasn't been merged. But if it's not, we still want to use the normal reader. But the difference is now the reader is a function call. So that means that you need, everywhere you are using await.reader.collections or singletons, you need to call the function like this. So basically find all the instances. If I was looking on my beta dev screencast, if I look for reader dot, so you can see I have these places on the main page and the slug page where I await the reader, which is the default reader. So you would basically call the function like this everywhere you use it to support this new wrapper around the GitHub reader and the normal reader, right? Hopefully that makes sense. And at this point, you should be done. You go, you click that preview, and you should see it. Ta-da! This is a real bummer that I can't do it on this stream that I've set up to do. But hopefully, walking you through this is somewhat useful, and I will do a follow-up once I've ported the Beta Dev Screencast website to use the app router. So here's another incentive to move to the app router. And you don't have to move the whole site. I could keep the pages and the posts in the pages directory. Remember, one of the key principles of the app router is it's incrementally adaptable, so you can have just the layout and maybe a couple of pages and move things progressively. In our case, we need to have the place where we want to opt out of the draft mode. We want it to, I guess I could have created a specific route to visit it. You know what? Let's try that really quickly. This might backfire big time, but I think I can just create a page where I have this opt-out instead of having in the main layout with everything. I just do a page that I visit when I want to opt out. And that might just work. So let's go back to the guide. What time is it? 11:20. Yeah, that should be good. I don't want to take too much of your time and of my time. So where we got stuck is basically that, because I wanted to do it in root layout. And remember, you probably watched this and screamed like, oh, why is he not just doing another page? When you live stream, your brain goes like, forgets about thinking principles. This is why I didn't want to do the porting to the app router live, because it live streaming on camera takes a lot of the capacity to be smart away. But I managed to just think of, let's try this. So I'm gonna do something in the app router. Give me the Explorer here. Okay, so I'll just create a new route here. And let's call it stop. Stop.tsx. So let's try something. Export default function. Stop page, I guess. See my brain stop. Return, yeah, let's do that. Return stop. Okay, so the premise of that is if I go to my, absolutely not that. If I go to my local host of dev screencast, nope, 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 nope. Oh my God. Okay, let's work out where is my better dev screencast. I thought I had it. Okay, never mind. Localhost 3001 it was. Yeah, okay, so let's do this. Let's first fix the underscore app. I'll backpedal of all the things I had done. Like that. So it should work again. Yep. And so now if we visit the /stop route, why? You know, I know why, because the app router doesn't want this. What the app, and you've probably been yelling at me the whole time. What the app router wants that, and then inside of it, it wants a page.tsx. What is this thing that is unsaved here? Let's not save that. All right, so now hopefully I have the stop page. Okay. Very cool. If I look at the home page, wait, what? Oh, it created a layout for me. I was like, I do have. All right. So in this layout here, excellent. I don't even have to create the layout. In this layout, I'm going to try to have my stop button. For a second, I thought there was a app router layout, but it just created it for me. So let's do that. We'll import this. Yep, and then we will check inside the export here, check if it's enabled, and finally, if it's enabled, we're going to, after the body, return without the +++++, the button. So let's give it a crack. There's nothing here. Now, if I visit preview/start and I go branch equals main and 2 equals just home. And I go back to the stop route. I should have gone to stop. Is our thing turned on? Nope, doesn't seem to be working. Maybe I'm missing something. Did I create a cookie with the, yeah, case branch is here. The domain is localhost 3000 and yeah, okay, so it's not enabled. Right, so maybe, I don't know. Oh, I've got errors, I've broken everything. Okay, let's keep going through the guide and see if we can work it out. This is just to stop. So maybe just enable it from the admin URL would work. Apologize, this is really nosediving, but I knew it might be the case as soon as I hit this. app router thing. So let's close this. Let's go back to our guide. We have the stop route. Now we want to add the preview URL here. So this happened in the Keystatic config. So Keystatic config, I'll close the thing here. So in our collections here, I have the path, slug field, etc. Entry layout, schema. Let's add it at the start after the path. Preview URL. See this? And so what we want to do is go to /preview/start. Actually, I can copy this in backtick so we can use the branch and slug. Although it's a string, this is not interpolation, it's just like a placeholder. So that should work like this. So preview, start, branch, and then I don't know if it's post/slug. Let me quickly visit a post and see. Yeah, so yeah, it's post/slug. So that should work. So I'm gonna save that. So maybe before I save, I haven't saved yet. If I go in the admin UI for my localhost site, here, so I'm on the localhost on the thing I'm working on, you can see that if I visit any post, there is no preview link here. So saving that file, adding the preview URL, there you go, I just saved it, should now add a preview. And it goes to, so okay, the branch is missing. So currently our link is set up, and the two, if you look at the bottom left, you can see 2 goes to the right URL, but the branch is not set. And this is because we need to do a bit more to set up the branch with a cookie. I've done it manually in the front end, but here in the 127 host, we need to do that. So back to the guide. Yeah, let's update. Actually, created. Like I said, I haven't used it in months, so I'm not sure. Do I have a reader? Or I think that in the how do I even, this is the post. I guess I use get static props to make it work. Yeah, geez, it feels like ages ago. I used to be like the way my brain would think about Next.js, and now with server components, it is so different. In a better way, I think I've really enjoyed server components. So I've just realized I might have. No, I'm sharing my screen. God, that's what I had my camera full screen for like the last 15 minutes. Okay, so here you can see we create the reader directly here, and we probably do it in the slug as well. Yeah, create reader. Okay. So we could do it anywhere. Let's go in lib here. I'll do a new file, reader.ts. Question from Moni. Keystatic, c'est comme Strapi en français, donc je peux répondre en français. No, I'll answer in English for if there's English people, but I'll do French as well to show you my French accent. Strapi is a open source headless CMS. The answer is no. Strapi is much closer to Keystone.js, which is another thing that ThinkMill built, where it involves a GraphQL API and CRUD operations, like for rich applications. Keystatic is instead skipping the database, storing everything in your file system in Markdown, Markdoc, YAML, JSON files, and you can think of it as a very lightweight, static version of CMS. It shares DNA with Keystone, the admin UI and all of that, but it's much more for content sites and read-only sites, documentation sites, personal sites, blogs, where Strapi and Keystone are more like you can build any app, mobile app. It's a GraphQL. It's basically a wrapper that gives you a GraphQL API or REST, like just an API and also an admin UI to write, edit content. So you don't want to build all the forms to create, read, delete, update. It does all of that for you. Donc, Strapi est plus similaire à quelque chose qui s'appelle Keystone.js, que ThinkMill also construit aussi. Strapi, il y a une base de données, GraphQL, API, CRUD, read, delete, write, je ne sais plus parler français. Mais Keystatic, c'est beaucoup plus petit. Tu sauves les fichiers dans le... Tu sauves les fichiers dans un... C'est du markdown comme ça, à la place d'avoir une base de données. Et du coup, c'est beaucoup plus petit. La surface de l'application est beaucoup plus petite. Tu peux déployer ça partout. Je ne suis pas... Christopher demande si je suis de France. Je suis de Suisse, mais de la partie francophone. C'est pour ça que je parle français. Je parlais français couramment et j'ai l'impression que j'ai perdu. Ça fait 10 ans que j'habite en Australie maintenant. Mais ouais, donc Keystatic, c'est plus proche de... Si tu avais essayé un Netlify CMS ou... Ma tête pense à aucun autre, mais plus petite surface. Pense pas de base de données Markdown à la place de Big CRUD Operation Apps. Ok, enough of français. J'espère que ça répond la question. Strapi, Keystone are very similar. Keystatic is more like Netlify CMS in a way. But the GitHub integration, I think, is very, very nice. I completely forgot what I was doing. Yes, we added the preview URL. Now I have questions about Tailwind CSS. Yes, I can do this. I'm not going to do this now. But definitely, Ryan, I can do this. We've added the preview URL, but we need to continue with the guide because it's not setting the branch at the moment. It's just setting the to thing. So, yes, that's where I was. I created this file, reader.ts, and I was about to paste all this. So the path to my config file might be, is it just one down? Yep. Okay, so again, we check the draft mode. If its draft mode is enabled and there's a branch set in the cookies, that's the part that was missing, then we create the Keystatic, the GitHub reader. That is not going to work because I don't have a preview token set. But because on my project there is a GitHub app, we are using a GitHub app here. So let me change this. This needs to be Simon Swiss Better Dev. And here, instead of that, I will use the cookies. Let me grab the value that I've discussed internally this morning. So because we're using a GitHub app, this is when you don't have a GitHub app set up because you may have used Keystatic Cloud and you need to have a personal access token. But in our case, we're using the GitHub mode. There's a GitHub app already connected, so I can use this GitHub app access token. And by the way, if you don't have a token, it might still work if the repo is public, as long as you don't hit the GitHub rate limiting. So you might get away without the token. But if you have a GitHub app or personal access token, this is going to let you have private repos and still work. So we've created this reader, and then if there is no draft mode, we just do the traditional reader. But like I said before, we wrap it as a function. So as a result, the next step is we need to update our uses of the reader and call it as a function. So in my project, if I go back to searching for reader, there is the index file and then the slug, which is the dynamic route with all the posts. So I'm doing both a post list. Oh, okay. But I'm not going to change this, but basically, I remember how I said I use Keystatic the first week of super early. There is now things. So you could only get a list of slugs. It literally gives you a list of strings, which is the slug for each post. And then you had to do another await and wait for each and grab the slug and wait, get the individual post for each. Now, I'm not going to change this code, but basically you have that list, but you have that all as well. And that all gives you can see on the left here, the slug and the whole entry for each. It's an array. So you get all the posts, so you can kind of skip all this dance. But let's keep that list. I'm not trying to refactor anything, just add functionality. So basically, I want to get rid of that. Instead, I want to, where is a good place? I want to import my reader. I think it's I've created a named function called reader from lib reader. That's the file we literally just done. You can see here I export the const reader. So I want to get rid of the Keystatic config and the create reader here because we have abstracted that in a reusable thing. And so here in the get static props, don't worry about this code. It's sort of outdated. It's using, it's not deprecated, but it's using APIs that you're likely not using if you start a new project. Basically, I'm in the pages router, so pages router. So I use get static props to be able to do server-side code only. But now we're not creating the reader here because we've imported it. And see, it's nicely telling me that on the type function, it doesn't exist. So TypeScript tells me, hey, something's wrong. But as soon as I call the reader function, things start working. So this is the list on the home page. Is it? Yeah, the index page. So let's check the front end. What? Oh no. My reader is also doing server-side stuff. So I need, well, you know what, this one I might, okay. Oh, bummer. It's going to turn into a whole Next.js conversion thing. So that part would be easy. But then there's the SEO and stuff. It's not that different. I mean, I know I can do it. I just know also that I can't do it on a live stream because brain and stuff. But essentially, if I go back to the Explorer here, I'd create a conflicting index page. I don't know if I want to. I know I can do it. Basically, I need to move the homepage and the post list to the app router. So page.tsx. But then that means I'm going to have to port the layout over, and there's a bit too much. I don't want this stream to last too long and me getting bogged down in different things. So once again, I need to, okay, let me switch to camera mode and explain, try to work myself into a reason for doing that stream. The main reason I did this is so I can expose omissions and problems with the guide I have done. Someone from the community yesterday has told us that we were not explaining at all what this preview GitHub token was, which is a very, very fair point. So I've actually opened a pull request that kind of explains what it is, and that you can also use the GitHub app if you have. And now I've observed a few more points by doing this live stream now. I wish it didn't expose that, but basically I need to, in the prerequisite here, I need to have a point number 3 or 1 or whatever uses Next.js app router and server components, because some of the code we write is expecting, you know, we're doing cookie stuff. Cookies are on server, so we need to have server components. There's probably, you know, it's an async function server component. You might be able to do that in get static props instead, which is the but again, I don't want to get stuck in live discovering stuff that I have enough experience to know that I'm not capable of doing that on live stream. And the second I switch off, I can do it all in one take. That's just how it is. It's the mental barrier of being a presenter and being performing rather than just locking down. Like, think of, someone hovering behind your shoulder and then telling you, oh, just do this, and then you can't type without typos. That's that sort of thing. But I've realized that I can update this to use the app router. And there was another thing that we talked about at the start. I'm going to be a little bit more clear about this. Yeah, the other thing was that it's Keystatic and Next.js, and it's using the app router. Otherwise, some of this code is not going to work. You need to refactor it to work with the get static props, which is the way of doing server-only code in the pages router. But that is also the way you do it on pages. Like you might need to do API routes and a few different things. Anyway, I'm not going to do this now. Just know if you follow this guide, and I will do a PR straight away, you need to use the app router so that you can follow along. Otherwise, it's slightly, actually quite different implementation. But to summarize what you should be able to do, create a start and end route in your app router again. These are the opt-in and out tokens. And then find a way to stop it. Well, this is just one way to do it. Basically, give the users a way to say, okay, I've done the preview. Let me snap out of draft mode. This is up to you how you implement it. But the turn on happens, Keystatic handles that by passing a preview URL. It's going to hit that start route, turn it on, store the branch to the cookie, go back to redirect you to wherever you want in draft mode, hopefully. And then we've created that reader. Again, it's using cookies and draft mode, so it's a server component. And then you update the use of your reader API. And everything should work. So to finish on a high note, let me go in the keystatic.com admin UI. I'll create, go away. I'll create a new documentation page, which is demo docs. This is a live stream demo. Do not ship this. This is Simon doing a live demo. So when I create this, because main branch is protected, it's going to ask me to create a new branch. I'll call it live preview demo. So it should switch me to live preview demo. And there it is. Now look at this. I have just published this. I haven't done a pull request, so there is no preview build, whatever happening. And if I click on preview, it starts the draft mode. And look at this. This thing I just created is on the web. It's not a localhost URL, right? There is this draft mode telling me I'm on the live preview demo branch, and I can end it by clicking here. And if we look at the Command L, you can see that we have, I'm literally keystatic.com/docs/demo docs. This doesn't exist. This URL is not real. If I open an incognito page and go there, it's gonna do a 404 page not found. The only reason it exists is because we have draft mode turned on. And so GitHub, the content exists on the branch, on this branch. So based on the URL, GitHub knows what markdoc file we're trying to preview, and it's showing it. And if I end preview, now we're still on the same URL, but it doesn't exist anymore. How cool is that? So I'm just going to delete this because I don't want to actually, can I delete the branch? Yeah, I'm going to delete my live preview mode branch. Live preview, yes. I don't want to leave a trail of dirt behind my live stream. And there you have it. A little bit sad that I wasn't able to implement this on my Better Devs Insight site, but at least hopefully walking through that helped you a little bit understand how it works. It helped me uncover some things we need to improve with the docs. And also I was able to clarify the difference between Strapi and Keystatic, which is tangential, but also pretty useful, I guess. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have questions in the comments or on Discord, and I will try to do a follow-up where I've moved stuff to the app router and I can do the live preview implementation. Bye! Thanks for watching.